haircut too.
They're the Tremco rep.
But we did,
rep.
yeah, we did.
Tremco Roofing.
Oh, okay.
His father was
All
in
this
charge of
concrete.
this whole area for
It was a ton.
his father's since retired, and him and a couple of others have taken over.
Now we're just trying to put it all back together. Got the air conditioning to get hooked back up. Got the pool equipment to get hooked back up.
I keep looking every time I drive by to see if they're doing
Time for the winter.
it.
Submitted a recommendation.
We'll be all set for the summer this winter.
Put together the scopes, we were about to bid for a contract.
The regional architect?
No. We had bad agent, he was a structural engineer. Rich.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a minor. It was like 12 grand, put the specs together. Because you got to put a public bid. Nothing. What do you think of it? Guys, what's going on? You don't want to hire her. Didn't you just hire a contractor and tell me that? I haven't responded to that.
It's a no-brainer.
I said, yeah. What am I telling them to fix?
I hate to make this comment, but you want somebody on the hook if something's not wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that,
Oh, yeah, no, I agree. And I told the president, they could be,
I'm trying to get my nap today, so. But I'm
cranky.
I'm not
you want
happy
someone
Did you
to
see I said
design
no
and
agenda,
detail
no agenda, but I
what
screwed that
I
up?
did. Well, I thought it was all
take
correct.
responsibility.
It must have been, yeah, because I looked at it, and go, I didn't put
Make sure
that there.
that-
So then I said it again.
Or the town's gonna be in a worse
Yeah,
case
spell check or whatever.
if it goes south again.
I did see that. That's a good call.
Yeah. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I will do the roll call. Rebecca Anderson.
Here,
John Kopis. Anthony Gorski.
Here.
Joseph Keefe.
Here.
Lawrence Korzaneski.
Here.
And Neil Conley is here. Welcome to the planning board meeting of the town of Lancaster. Keep in mind that we are an advisory board, not a final decision-making body. We ask that anybody wishing to make comment do so in writing. We have a full agenda today. We'll do a couple of administrative items and then we'll get to it. Now, as you may have noticed, we do not have a secretary at this time. I want to thank Joe Keefe for helping me out with the minutes from the last time. However, I failed to email them to everybody, so even though they are completed, I don't think anybody had a chance to look at them. So let's defer that to the next meeting, and I'll send that out, and you can take a look at both sets of minutes for the next meeting. Communications list for today. I did pass that out before the meeting. One note on the communications list, I wanted to mention that the ZBA tabled the car wash at Walden and Central at the request of the petitioner due to the absence of 2 members. So they did not rule on that. I'm assuming it'll be on next month. While you're looking at communications, Tony, I turned in your certificate for 4 hours.
Great.
Anything you want to report on?
I learned a lot.
Was it worthwhile?
I learned a lot more than I did before about the, controlling the water on construction sites and everywhere else. So I'm certified now
Okay, good.
for 3 years. So, and if you need to hire somebody,
All right, any other comments about communications or minutes? If not, the first item up is the seeker for Triad Distributing, CNG Station Parking Lot. Seeker is the State Environmental Quality Review. Is Mark here? Oh, hi, Mark. Hi. We can go right into the seeker if you have any comments. let us know. We might have to ask some questions, but unless you wanted to say something ahead of time. This is an unlisted action. So we will use the short form. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. 2, will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
No.
No? 3, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
No. We do not have a critical environmental area. We'll skip that. 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No. No.
6, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. 7, will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies?
No.
B, public-private wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
8, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources?
No.
Oh, no,
No.
not there.
10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No. No.
11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No. No.
No. All right, can I have a motion for a negative declaration?
I'll move.
I have a motion, second.
Second.
Take notes. All right, on the question, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, we'll go right into the site plan review. Mark, could you come up and just give us a summary of the project and what's been done since the last time we saw you? I know it's been a while.
Sure. So over here to the Triad Distributing, there's the CNG station that's located on the parcel, and the proposition is to construct a parking lot on the west side of the station, and that parking lot would hold CNG vehicles, 40-foot box trucks, and day cab tractors only, no trailers, and personal vehicles for the drivers. Those vehicles will be Amazon delivery vehicles. The facility next door to Triad, they will be using this parking lot, obviously use it to fill as well at the station. So operationally, it just made sense for them to do that. There have been no changes since I've been here last time. The layout is the same, stormwater is the same. There is on the south side of the lot a slab for, it's just a, you call it a Connex box, but it's a box to store any of the operation and maintenance materials for the station, considering that they don't have anything there right now at the station to be able to store anything that they might need to maintain the station. Next to that is a small enclosed area for a dumpster and a portable restroom for the drivers, all of which is enclosed in that slab to the south. There's a perimeter fence around the parking lot. It does extend down into the stormwater management area, the pond system to the south, and access control are through 2 gates that are card access. They do have Knox boxes on them for fire department access. The whole idea is to the truck to enter on the north side of the station and pull in, park, and then when they leave, they'll pull out on the south side of the station, creating a new, say, a slip lane here to the south of the canopy. There's just one sign that has to be relocated here off this lane, and then they would pull back out. Last time I was here, we talked a bit about access management because it is in the overlay district, and we looked at a number of options to basically connect the two sites on the north side and the south side, and there were a couple limiting factors given that the employee parking lot for Triad is on the north side, and the way everything would connect would be that the Amazon trucks would drive through the employee parking lot and still would need to access the security gates at Triad, and that posed a concern for Triad because obviously they would need to be granted access into their secured area. It's really the same thing on the south side. The south side have to be granted gated access, and given that the loading docks are on the south side of the building, there were a number of issues as far as safety goes with, trucks, additional vehicles anyway, moving through that parking lot. A lot of activity back there, loading and unloading for Triad's vehicles anyway, and they really didn't want to increase that risk for additional vehicles to be going back and forth through there. So with that said, we had proposed maintaining this entrance and using that for these vehicles. The intensity of the lot has not changed since the last meeting, and I think that's about all. If anyone has any
The filings with the
questions.
attorney's office have all been taken care of?
Yes, I spoke to Jeff at Triad last week. He said that he hand delivered them to, I think it was the clerk's office, but I spoke to Lisa in the attorney's office. And
She did say she got
does
it.
have Yeah.
Right. Members, any questions?
I just have a question on circulation. Is the intent for the trucks to fill up before they park or on their way out?
Typically they, if a truck comes back at the end of the day, they would probably fuel.
So they fuel before
the
they
next
park
day,
it?
and they would probably make a U-turn back in. If they didn't, they'd fuel at that point.
It just seems like coming out that, getting to the pumps would be
Yeah, it'd be tough.
difficult.
Yeah. and-
I mean, it's none of my business. I'm just curious how it works.
No, you're right, and from what I've learned in doing a few of these is that the drivers typically will fuel at the end of the day so that it's ready for the next day, whoever is driving that particular truck.
So does the driver come and get the truck and then take it to Amazon to get loaded while he's waiting? Or does somebody do that
No,
before they get there?
Nope, it's the driver that'll pick up the truck for the day and leave their personal vehicle in the lot. And then they'll take the truck over there and they'll load it up. So I don't know load times on a 40-foot box truck, but I don't know if it's all hand loaded or if it's, they have conveyor systems, and I hear the facilities they have are pretty
High-tech.
pretty substantial.
Mr. Schiller, town engineer?
All set?
All set? Code enforcement officer? Mr.
Can
Fisher?
I understand the stormwater agreement had been filed?
That's what he said. Well,
Yeah.
Lisa's got it.
Okay, all right, so we should expect that. Yeah, I want to say this is probably the first project in a long time where the parcel work is happening before recommendations for approval.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. All right, anything else? Councilman Mazer? Set? Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, can I have a second
I'll second.
on the question? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you all.
All right, next item, the proposed shop and storage. John, would you be able to put that easel up?
Oh, sure.
shop and storage, seeker has been previously completed quite a while ago.
Good evening. My name's John Barniak with Carmina Wood Design. Here on behalf of Fred Donato and his development located at 5841 Genesee Street. This project was presented to the board back in January, so it's been a number of months since then. And we have since been able to address the board's comments from that meeting. We've been able to address engineering concerns. We've been able to address code enforcement review comments. As you said, there was a neg deck issued back in April, I believe, for this project. We've also been able to obtain Erie County DSM sewer connection approval, Erie County Water Authority backflow approval, and a DOT highway work permit application preliminary review approval. I believe that you should have received building elevations of the metal-clad buildings proposed on site. They were prepared by Daryl Martin. And another issue from the January meeting was regarding this preservation area from SHPO. The SHPO deed covenant has been filed with the county in accordance with SHPO regulations. I believe that a stormwater maintenance agreement has also been filed with the county at this time. And I think that's, in summary, I think that's about it. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
All right, any questions, comments? Members?
Can you remind us what that archaeological site was? I don't remember that.
Pardon?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was just deemed, an archaeological study was performed on the site because it was flagged under seeker as archaeological sensitive, and it was determined that it does have some importance. I'm not an archaeologist. I don't know the specifics, but you know, it's a preservation area that needed to be protected, and that's exactly what the deed covenant is provided for.
Okay.
You know, there was a well issue on site?
There was. It's actually located, I don't know if you can really see that.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's located based off the DEC mapper. It's a well that's well over 100 years old, I believe, and it's been decommissioned for a while. And it's obviously outside of the proposed work limits for the development, so.
Is that a problem or no?
No, as long as it's been decommissioned, that was the question.
Yeah, it's definitely not an active well, yeah.
Okay. Matt, anything?
Is there documentation on that decommissioning available, or is it just?
It's just provided online through the mapper.
No, all of the other comments were addressed at this point.
Okay.
There was a landscaping comment, I believe, from the January meeting. It was for additional landscaping along this building here, which abuts the backside of the Brazen Brewing property. So it kind of, there was additional pine trees just to break up that face of the proposed shop building.
And there's a house to the other side, or
There's a house right here.
right there?
Yep.
There's buffering there as well?
Yes.
There's natural buffering,
It's a natural buffer. It's not proposed landscaping.
as long as you don't clear it.
No, there's no intent to clear that area.
Okay. If there's nothing else, anybody inclined to make a motion?
Neil, I just got a message from Lisa saying that the stormwater agreement has not been filed yet. for this project.
It's not out, she hasn't got it back yet.
Yeah.
So where does that put us?
Okay, well, I guess approve on, I don't know if you want it conditioned on the stormwater.
It can't be approved by the town board until it's done.
But would you prefer that it just be tabled then until you receive it? I know some board members.
So some board members said about that, without everything being done.
It appears to be a waste of time to do that because you're going to lose 30 days worth of filing. If you have the agreement, you have it signed, you have it notarized, if it's already been filed at the county, the town just needs proof of that filing. And then the board could approve the project. So I mean, as far as the overall project is concerned, in the essence of saving valuable time in our season, recommendation, but the approval can't happen without the filing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't want to take it to a permit to be the stopgap for that. It should be the approval of the site. But, you know, a filing of a document that's already been executed, it doesn't take long to do, and it shouldn't roll this thing off another 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah, because this has gone on since last December, so, I hate to, unless there's another issue, but if this is the only issue, and it sounds like, to me, it's just paperwork that needs to be noted, yeah. So, hearing that, why don't we just, I don't know if we need to condition it, or,
Why don't we just make it subject to filing of the stormwater agreement with the town?
Receipt of filing.
See the file,
Yeah.
right? Has it been filed?
I believe it's been filed.
Okay.
What does that, got the receipt back to the attorney's office?
Right.
oh, you want to make that motion, Joe?
So you're saying proof of the filing?
Well, do we need
He's
that
saying
to
it's
even,
filed with the county and it's got to go to the town, right?
He
Is
needs,
that it, man?
Proof of filing needs to be delivered to the town attorney's office.
Okay.
So, you know, a recommendation with the condition that the town board approval cannot happen until the attorney's office receives proof of filing.
Okay, so I would move to approve it subject to filing proof of the filing of the stormwater agreement with the town attorney's office.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll second.
We have a second. Anything else on the question? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Okay, we've got site plan review yard improvement for 1230 Town Line Road. Hello, Tyler.
Good evening, folks. Tyler Soika, 125 Court Street, Lancaster, New York. I'm here representing Great Street Service at 1230 Town Line Road in Lancaster, New York. We have some millings that are too close to the right-of-way where our parking area is. We know that, so we need to pull those back, and that is what we're going to do. So that existing right now, we are not code compliant. We simply need to come back 20 feet from the right-of-way, moving west into the property. So that's why we are here. I'm assuming you guys know that we had we got the special use renewal, and it was granted in December of 2016. So we're just trying to get this fixed and be code compliant.
What was the last part? We're just trying to what?
We're just trying to get it code compliant at the end of the day.
All right, this is a type 2 action, so it would not require seeker. Any questions, members, comments?
So you're saying that in the photos that you included in your package, that the millings need to be removed?
Yes.
And then what are you going to do? Are you going to topsoil and seed?
Topsoil and seed, yes. Going to go down about 6 inches, pull it all back, fill in some low spots in the lot that we have now, just from ruts over the winter. It happens because we use that lot every day during the winter, and snow removal is not easy with stone, but that's the way it works. And so, yeah, we're going to we're going to seed it after it's all finished, and that'll just be grass.
Ed, anything? Matt, any questions?
Nothing outside of the comments that were provided, and again, trying to get the property in compliance with the ordinance, and we'll set back the permit for the building was issued a decade ago, perhaps, 14, I don't even recall. 2014, 400 square foot building, contractor's yard.
All right, so this will get it in compliance, and sounds to me like it's going to spruce it up and make it look better, right?
It needs it. Yes, it needs it.
Sounds like a good thing to me. Emily, since this is a type 2, we don't have to go through any review process, do we?
No.
All right, I think we can go right to a motion then. All right. I will move to accept the site plan review as presented. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
On the question? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be back here. I sat for a
Thanks,
few years
Dad.
on the zoning board, so see you guys later.
Okay, next is the Robert James Sales, Phase 2. Hi.
All right, good to see everybody again. I believe, so my name is Chase Kramer, I'm with Bergman, I'm here representing Hybrid Building Solutions. I have Brian and his wife here with us. Basically, we're here seeking approval as well as seeker review for the Phase 2 modifications to the approved master plan for the development at 4543 Walden Avenue. I presented this to the planning board, I believe, at the July 20th, or no, sorry, the June 1st planning board meeting, and we were tabled until this meeting because we did not have the private improvement permit for the Phase 2 portion of this project. Since then, the private improvement permit has been acquired, and I believe they're out there working on Phase 2 right now. So we're looking to get approval for these modifications. Quick summary of what the modifications were. Essentially, we're adding a 80 by 60 pole barn with associated utilities and pavement to provide on-site vehicle storage for the vehicles that are used at the facility. And then we're also going to be adding 2 truck loading docks here to the building, to the second warehouse building that's going to be built, as well as reducing the overall footprint of that building at this time from what was already previously approved. So that pretty much covers, I think, what we're looking for in this at this meeting. So does anybody?
All right, we still do need to do seeker though, right? So
Correct.
this is an unlisted action. Have we gone through the 30-day review process?
We still are waiting for some responses, so this one will be ready for the August 3rd meeting to do seeker.
I was thinking it should be ready by the next meeting.
So
right?
what are we still waiting for?
Well, we'll see if there's any issues, but if there are no other issues, we could have seeker and site plan review right after the seeker on August 3rd.
Okay. I know we received communications this past week from the DEC that you guys would be considered the lead agency for seeker review.
Yes.
So essentially, we're just playing a waiting game right now to get this approved?
Yeah.
Other agencies.
30-day window.
It was an amended review, so we needed to see the modifications, and, yeah, so we got to go through the process, and then we'd be ready for the,
August 3rd meeting.
yes.
Do
So
you
2
know
weeks
what-
from tonight.
Do you know what agencies we're still waiting for review from?
I do not know.
Can I see on here, Erie County Water, and the Army Corps of Engineers are still not in here, but I don't know if that's definitely the reason why it's not on for tonight, or I don't know when you got the, other paperwork in, maybe it wasn't coordinated, secret wasn't coordinated right after the
So
last
we
meeting.
received, what paperwork are you referring to?
After the last meeting, you still needed to get another, was that permit you had to?
Yeah, so we obtained the private improvement
We
permit.
got that permit the next day.
Okay.
Yeah, we went and saw, yeah, we went and
That,
tried
so,
for that permit.
I don't know if that's what it was waiting on for secret to be coordinated. No. Okay. Then it's just not on for tonight. I don't know. We usually have 30 days after seeker is coordinated from the beginning to wait, but it may not have been coordinated right after the last meeting.
Okay, yeah. So I believe we submitted Matt, it's been so long since we submitted it. I believe we submitted a short EAF for this action. Or it was a long?
Yeah, it was our understanding that we had to get that seeker, get the payment in.
No,
And that was
PIP.
the PIP permit, and that was the only thing outstanding.
That was the only thing outstanding.
Well, seeker needs to be done either way.
Right, seeker needs to be done for the modifications, and we submitted that.
So you submit, like, you fill out that environmental assessment
Correct.
and submit it, but that's not the start of the coordination where it's sent
So
out to other agencies
if-
to respond.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, whenever we presented at the June 1st planning board meeting, whenever they approved the PIP permit after, that's what was considered?
No, I was just asking if that was, when that was done. No, so seeker can be coordinated, I mean, it could have been coordinated at any point. It obviously wasn't done before June 20th.
Okay, because it was our understanding the seeker was done and the PIP permit was the only thing outstanding.
That was
But
the
we
last
were at the
meeting.
last meeting, and that was how the meeting ended.
That seeker, and that you would still need the PIP and seeker would still need to be done before site plan approval.
I can't remember all the dates.
Yeah, so I guess,
Hasn't been filed for it.
I guess I'm just kind of confused as to what's the holdup for the seeker review. Is it Erie County and the water?
Those are just two agencies I know we haven't received responses from, but the full coordination isn't complete. So they, like, this board can't recommend a negative deck or anything without having the proper paperwork to go through for the,
Okay, so we're basically just waiting for everything to be coordinated at this point, so.
so it's not ready for tonight's meeting, and unfortunately, we don't have another meeting until August 3rd.
Correct.
So that's why I asked until then.
DEC did mention hydric soils and consulting with the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yes.
Has that been,
So, I mean, in the previously approved plans, the only wetlands that were on site, I believe, are here to the south and as well up here. And we're not impacting any of those whatsoever with these modifications. We're well within the scope of the originally approved plans.
all right, I'm gonna, anything else?
I've got one question, and I apologize, I just started looking at this, but I've got a question.
Yeah.
On page 1, you've got a little table there for stormwater,
Yes.
where you're showing existing discharge versus, basically you're showing pre-existing versus post-developed.
Correct.
Okay. And you're showing pre-existing 10-year at 10 CFS, basically,
Right.
and post-developed 100-year at 20. According to the table.
Wait,
Pre-existing 10
okay,
at 10 CFS.
for the 10, For the 10 years? I'm sorry.
Yeah, 10-year storm.
I don't have the report
Yeah,
in front of
that's
me. Do you mind if I look at the
10-year
report?
storm, Table showing pre-existing flow of 10 CFS.
Okay.
Okay. Post-developed, for the 100-year storm, you're showing 20 CFS. The town code is that the post-developed 100 must be equal to or less than the pre-developed 10.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, I apologize, the first time I looked at this, but I know back when the original was done, it met the requirements, so I'm not sure what changed. That's what I'm scratching my head a little.
So those were so which design are you referring to? The one that we submitted like that Bergman submitted, or the one that was submitted for the other plan? Because this is the first that I'm hearing about this requirement from the
I
town.
mean, you could look at it, I'm sure.
You got this versus this. This has to be less than that.
Wait. It's not 10, 25, 25, 100, which is typical. This town standard is stricter.
Correct.
It says
So this is the,
and they need to type on it, because I know, I mean, originally, the original site was fine.
correct, so okay, so I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying right now. So those flow rates are the calculations of flow through the swale, basically the change in flow through the swale that's going to ultimately go to this stormwater detention pond.
Okay.
So we're increasing that.
Into the pond, which is
Correct.
fine. So I guess what I'm asking, so then, what it doesn't say, and if this is the case, I would just ask you to make a comment in here somewhere that says that the outflow of the pond, you're still meeting the town requirements.
Correct. So we are, because in the original design for the project, in phase 3, there's going to be a warehouse building that has an allotment for an additional 12,000 cubic feet of pavement to be added to the site. So basically, this stormwater detention pond on site was over-designed to accommodate any changes in impervious that were going to happen during the course of the project. So we're utilizing that extra,
Capacity.
that extra capacity with this pole barn right here. So basically going forward.
So this table's with a swale only, is what you're saying?
Correct.
If I can make one comment for the original seeker, I don't know, I'm not official, so please pardon me if I'm not official, but when we did the additional seeker, we put in there for an additional 10% larger capacity in case of changes just for this application. So the original seeker had a 10% capacity on it as well. So I don't know if that makes a difference.
No, but I'm fine with your.
Yeah, so that was included in the, I believe that was included in the SWIP report that was originally submitted with the master plan for this site.
Matt, do you have any comments?
There's none from the building and zoning department.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Mazur, anything? All right, we'll have you come back August 3rd. Sorry for the wheels of bureaucracy turn slowly sometimes.
Yeah, it's understandable.
I'll try to get you early on the agenda.
Okay, perfect.
So hopefully there'll be no problems, but we can't promise anything. But we'll do seeker, and then right after seeker, assuming that it's a negative declaration, we would go right to site plan review.
Okay, yeah, no, that sounds fine.
So I'm going to move the table at this time. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks. All right. Classic 2?
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Chris Andrzejewski. I'm with Milex Engineering. I'm the design engineer for the site plans. My client, Mr. Paul Fix, who owns Classic Tube, wishes to expand his business. It's a 2-acre site. He plans on developing another 0.6 acres of it. He currently has a 19,000 square foot building. He wants to put a 18,000 square foot, very similar building right adjacent to it with associated parking. Parking will increase from 17,725 square to with an additional 7,480 square feet for parking, which will accommodate 22 additional parking spots. The business expansion will provide 2 new jobs, and it's basically just more warehouse area to create their tubes. There's no need for any utility connections. They're going to be on existing water and sewer. Well, sewer's actually it's an on-site septic system, so there's no need for new tap-ins. The stormwater system or stormwater will be managed with a green infrastructure swale that'll lead into detention ponds up in the front, and any overflow or discharge will go to a roadside swale west of the property. Stormwater currently, I was told, just percolates in the ground. There's a lot of fissures, I guess, in the bedrock in that area, but we went through all the steps to treat it as a typical stormwater system and not go with injection wells or anything like that, because that would have been a whole nother steps to go through with EPA and things like that. So we provided some new landscaping up in front just to green it up a little bit. Guess if anybody has any questions, that'd be...
Any questions, members? Mr. Schiller?
Yeah, just looking at this now, but I'll make the same comment. According to your report, the pre-developed 10-year, well, let me back up. The post-developed 100-year flow, you're showing as greater than the pre-developed 10-year. Town law says it must be equal to or
The post 100-year has to be equal to or less than 10?
the pre-developed 10.
Did that change?
No, it's been like that for 20 years.
I'll revisit that if we have to. I think we can enlarge it.
Yeah, you're close, so I don't think it's going to be much, but just the way it's presented, it doesn't meet the requirement.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. If we have to, we can enlarge the detention basin for storage.
No, I haven't looked at anything else. That's all.
Okay.
I'll talk that quick.
Yeah, you haven't really had a chance to review this, right? Matt, I know it's early. You have any comments right now? Or?
I did not do a formal review, but I didn't foresee any major setbacks to the application and the process.
Okay.
In the time that it takes to coordinate this for review as an unlisted action, I highly encourage you to speak with the town attorney's office to obtain the maintenance and operation agreement of the stormwater facility so that we can have it recorded, just to ensure proper maintenance at scheduled time. It's going to be simply cleaning injection wells.
There's no injection wells.
Oh, there are no.
No, we're staying away from that because that would have been required EPA permits and stuff. So we're going with conventional. We don't anticipate the water to be even close to that based on what current conditions are.
All right, then again, as long as the verbiage is filed for the maintenance and operation of those facilities, the filing is provided to the town attorney's office so that they're approved.
Okay, and is that just a standard maintenance agreement?
It's a boilerplate agreement, and it's based on the project itself. So again, I asked for coordination with the attorney's office to get that verbiage amended to meet your project and get the filing done.
Okay.
And the only thing the attorney will need from me are the plans. So if you're going to change the plan for the pond,
right,
I'll need that to get to the attorney's office because they have 10 times of the agreement.
Okay, understood.
This would be a type or a unlisted action? All right, so we would need to do seeker. The 30-day period hasn't even begun yet,
Hasn't been
right?
coordinated yet, no.
So we're looking at probably
First in September.
first meeting in September, probably, when we could do seeker and then make a decision on the site plan review. All right, and that will give you time to take care of a couple other things.
Any comment letters that will be generated, at least from my office, you'll be copied in on it as well. The board will be also copied on it.
Okay.
It'll be addressed to the board, we will be copied on it. Just so that you're well prepared for that September meeting.
Sure.
There shouldn't be any outstanding items, at least from a zoning perspective. I'm sure the engineer will do the exact same thing.
What's the turnaround time been for some of the responses for seeker, from some of the other agencies?
Well, we're required to give them 30 days,
Do you get, and what if we don't get a response in that 30 days then?
and they waive their
Yeah,
right to respond.
Okay,
A lot of them come in within a week.
okay.
Usually the ones that want to respond are pretty quick.
Yeah, occasionally we get a response well after the, they should have responded.
Okay.
But, anything else, members? All right, then I will move to table this project to a future meeting. I won't say September, just in case, but it should be in September. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Delta Sonic, Car Wash Edition.
Good evening. I'm Mike Yan, Director of Construction Development for Delta Sonic.
Excuse me, could you say it again, Mike?
Yeah, Mike Yant, Y-O-U-N-T.
Got it. So we have James on.
Yes, yeah, James couldn't make it tonight,
Okay.
so.
All right, thanks.
Hey, so we're just seeking to have the site plan review amended so that we've added, at our site on 4817 Transit Road, our new Delta Sonic there, we've added actually a maintenance shed. The size of it, I think, was one of the issues. It's 12 by 28 feet, which is, or 12 by 28, which is 336 square feet. It's actually located right next to our dumpster corral that's near the car wash itself. Familiar with the site, it's about 9.81 acres. Retail fuel up front, your convenience store, detail shop, and VIP club vacuums up front. The rear section is the car wash building itself with the stacking and the prep hut. And then again, right next to it here is actually, right here is actually the shed, which is set there. It's actually just set on pavement. It takes up approximately 2 parking spots. We were required to have 69 parking spots. We currently have 135 with this there. So we have plenty of parking for it. So we were just looking for the amendment for the site plan for the approval for that, for this shed. There's no utilities run to it or anything. And there isn't going to be. It's strictly a maintenance shed for yard equipment, property maintenance such as some snow blowers, things of that nature, lawnmowers, rakes, anything extra like that we have.
Does this require another seeker?
This does.
Does?
It does?
Wow. For a shed?
Why?
Already had sequence? Oh, look at the file.
Under 4,000 square foot.
It's small.
Modification.
Okay.
If we're looking at what it is, we're amending the site to add another building on an already fully developed. And again, it's another project that I had not had opportunity to make comment on, but you will be copied in on as well. I'm also going to recommend that you reflect the other changes that have come along the way, which I believe are already on the plan.
Yes.
As far as the flagpole area, the mount of fountain, there's an employee break room.
That's correct. Yeah, there was a couple of them that we sent, yes. Yeah, everything's been
So
updated.
that we should all update and put it all on. So again, I just haven't had the opportunity to comment on the project itself. So whether or not to determine it's listed or unlisted, I really have to stick my nose into the cookbook there and identify that. But if it's a simple, small accessory structure, It's type 2.
Yeah, it seems to me like it should be type 2, but let's look into that. I think we're going to have to, looks like we're going to have to table anyway. We need
My
time.
understanding with the original build out of the project, I mean, we've met all of the requirements as it is, like O company, all of the final COs. Again, just no opportunity
Yeah,
to
no.
do that.
Yep.
Finally got the performance bond returned back, and we got that through the process.
Right. The light was finished, things of that nature, so.
Right, right.
Yeah, we pushed to get that done.
It's
Yeah.
a bright, sparkling, shiny, brand new project on Transfer Road. It's, it's a really nice facility.
Thank you.
It turned out very, very well.
It's worked out very well. It's a great
But
facility.
at the same time, it's a small modification, but it's a modification just the same.
$34 for
Yeah,
a
it's quite
detail,
the-
though.
What's that?
$34 for a detail.
Is it the unlimited?
Yeah, a few more days,
They told me you steam now, that's why it's.
if you allow a few more days, we can generate that comment letter and get that out to you, and hopefully by then we can identify whether or not what secret action is appropriate for this.
All right, meanwhile, any other questions or comments?
No.
All right. All right.
I just have a sidebar question. Have you noticed a reduction in accidents on Transit near there since the light went in?
We have. We weren't really open too long with it or without it, excuse me. But definitely from what I know I grew up and lived in Lancaster, know a lot of the responders and everything, and they were all very happy to have that light. And I think that we've definitely seen, and I don't know if anybody here knows different, but we've seen definitely a decrease. I'll say this, customer access has improved. We've had more customers coming to it, and I think it's, again, living here and being here, it's a safety issue. They feel safer sitting there waiting to turn in and or waiting to turn out, basically turning out and heading south. I definitely feel customers that feel safer about that for sure. And people who are leaving Kohl's with the tie-in. They know that they can get through with Kohl's too.
It leaves
so.
a gap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm always, go ahead.
I can almost assure one of the comments on the letter generated is that because of it being a controlled intersection now with traffic signal, access management, this is going to be the following point for many changes that are happening north and south of this facility. It's a well-needed improvement to access on the Transit Road.
Yeah.
And it may come with a lot of bellyaching and complaining from other properties that will have their driveways removed, because this is the perfect place to enter off of the state highway to frequent all of those businesses, north and south of this location.
Okay, anything else? All right, then I will move to table this project as well to a future meeting. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, well, we'll be in touch to see, if it does have to go through the secret process, we have to go the 30 days and so on.
And that would include, just to clarify, that includes all the other modifications and things we've done so far, correct? Right, okay. Yeah.
Simulate that whole thing together. If we're going to incorporate that, it exceeds the 4,000 square foot, it's on listed all day long.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, that concludes our agenda. Regarding discussion, I wanted to ask Matt and anybody else involved about the dumping permit for Tom at 272 pavement. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but is it your take that that should come back to the planning board?
Well, the original recommendation, well, the condition of the recommendation of this planning board on that subdivision split was to have deed restrictions filed on that specific parcel. And any improvement on that parcel was to come back in front of this board for review, because there were some sightline issues coming off the hill, and there was the well that still wasn't fully resolved or identified to be properly terminated. I believe it discharged into, I think it's a stream bed at the south end can report that as of today, none of those conditions have been met.
Deed restrictions haven't been filed?
Not at all. And the dumping began prior to receiving any approvals. There was a driveway culvert installed through a permitting process with Erie County Highway Department. And again, the conditions of this lot were not met. The builder developer was issued citation, violation notices that went ignored. Ultimately ended up, I believe, in appearance statements from town court. That got everybody's attention. We initially got the permit application for dumping of materials, of course, incomplete. An engineer was brought on board to provide quantities and grade, which satisfied in a normal condition, but this is a very abnormal condition. The restrictions had not been provided. There has not been a plan provided to this board that's going to propose a finished grade that's going to satisfy the concerns that were placed on that lot. So, you know, the permit should be, at this point, rejected. And I don't know what you do with an individual that blatantly goes against the code and what the boards have a condition on the approvals. I mean, there's just a total ignorance of what was required. The resolutions were all sent out, all the documentations were there, and upon notification is in violation right away. We get pounded with inquiries, why is this, why is that, I didn't know, and it's just, it's a waste of resources that we don't have to explain this, sit down with the developer, he has all the documentation. So again, just to report back to this board, anything that happens on that lot of 272 Pavement Road should be heard in front of this body here for a recommendation of yes or no to issue building permits.
My only question is, had all the other things been done correctly, the deed restrictions filed, the driveway not installed yet, would he be able to have a dumping permit?
Based upon the recommendation of this planning board to the town board for approval of the development of that site, meaning what's the finished grade going to be?
See, to me, I guess I'm not connecting why a dumping permit connects to the development of the lot. I mean, it's supposed to come back to the planning board when the lot is developed, and it's supposed to pass you and or Ed. But this is just a dumping permit, so I'm not sure what you're saying there.
Dumping.
How can we resolve this?
Well, let's get a development plan in front of this board. I mean, it's clear he's not filing a covenant on that parcel. Very clear. He's advertising the lot as a built-to-suit lot. He's developing that lot. Let's get a plan over here. Let's get some finished grade elevations that are going to satisfy exiting onto a county highway and north-south thoroughfare through the town. That's going to be a safe access. Deal with the well. Get these finished grades up to where they need to be so that he can dump at will. I mean, a dumping permit on a vacant property is much different than developing a piece of property that needs fill.
So he needs a development plan in the lot. You got to deal with the well. The grade elevation should be submitted with the development plan, I'm guessing, right?
And why haven't that covenant been filed?
Why hadn't it been filed?
Yeah. And that was a condition.
That was a condition of the 3-lot approval of the subdivision 2 years ago.
Yes, Rebecca.
Well, one of the questions that we had when it came in was the steep slope there. And in my head, what I'm hearing is he's dumping. Who knows what he's doing to the grading, so we don't have a plan. You said the floodplain is off his property, so
Yes,
at one time it's off the property. But to ensure that he doesn't fill off the property, we need a plan. We need to see the limits of fill. Depending on what he's planning on doing, they have to be doing compacted certified fill. I don't know. We don't know any of these things. We don't know what the soils are.
We're just arbitrarily filling a lot that's meant for development.
However,
we're applying under the guise of a ordinary plain old dumping permit that we've been issuing here for decades and decades. And we're bypassing what was required.
But
Since
that,
that's-
correct me if I'm wrong, but that third lot was not approved for development.
Correct.
Unless it was signed off by our engineer and our code enforcement officer and came through the planning board.
And the town board.
And the town.
Yeah, planning board and then ultimately the town board.
And sightlines.
That was the covenant that was to be filed when the split was filed.
Right, and one of our, well, I hate to say you were right, but you were right. They should have just had 2 lots all the way down. You were right. And it, you know.
It is what it is. Right?
It is what it is.
Like I said, we learned from what we've done in the past. It prevents our applicants from making the same mistakes. It helps them in the long run.
It doesn't help the sight line by bringing, I don't understand how coming out of a driveway in that dip I just went there, I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, on my bike, which is the worst crossing that we have on the Heritage Trail. It is the most dangerous, and we stop and we really have to be quick to get across because southbound traffic is hard to see until it's on you. But I rode down the road into Nicker, right? Nicker. And I went over, looked at the houses, and I kind of peeked around the corners best I dared on a bicycle, and took a look at that thing, and I said, someone's going to get creamed coming out of that driveway.
You can see it in skid marks in the roadway from the tandem trucks and everybody stopping because either somebody's making a turn onto Westwood Road or something's happening there where somebody at 45 miles an hour cresting the hill can't stop the vehicle in time to deal with what's in front of them.
Right. So,
especially in the winter when it's snowing.
Yes.
So one of our concerns back then was the sight line, and until we're assured that the sight line was going to be safe for someone coming out of that driveway, which I don't think we're going to get, we were never going to issue a building permit.
Well, I disagree that we were wrong. I think we were right the way we did it. They're wrong. They're not doing what we wanted them to do. But I still say it was the right thing to do.
What the developer wanted was 3 lots, and I believe you wanted 2. Just split it in 2 all the way to the property line at the southern end, and just have 2 long lots that went down the slope, and ignore that, make that 3rd lot go away. Because I remember you talking about that. And
My personal opinion is, I think the developer had a deal for those houses based on the 3 lots, and he probably already had signed contracts with the 3 lots, and they only wanted certain size parcels, and that's why.
Yeah, he definitely had clients. I don't know if they had signed.
Contract lined up.
I don't know if he had signed
I guarantee
contracts.
he had.
they didn't want to pay taxes on property they couldn't.
I thought it was a good compromise at the time. If it didn't meet the criteria, that 3rd lot would not be developed.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's it.
With, even the sewer main extension, the original sewer main that was extended was never really permitted. It was only a clean out, an alleged clean out extension. They serviced 2 buildings out of it. There's a 3rd lateral that comes off of that the county has yet to verify for compliance. I don't know how he's going to service a building on the pavement lot and get it to go to Nicker Road without an elevation of the system itself to pump the sewage up to get it to the elevation and get it out. I'm still in conversations with the county sewer division on how that pipe was installed. It wasn't a part of the development plan, so it's a little bit sticky. And just to, carte blanche, allow the dumping permit for future development on a lot that's allegedly not meant for development, that needs to be approved for development. It just best to just not allow that until he holds his end of the bargain, and then the town can service it quickly. And that's the opinion of the zoning office, and it should have been filed.
I don't know where that.
Again, when we go back to minor subdivisions, site plan reviews, all of these deed covenants and everything, even through the secret process, there is an additional month of time where the developer can converse with our town council to get the verbiage proper, so that when the approval happens, the filing can happen, and the town board can approve a clean project without having any sticking points. This is a sticking point that one more time got by the building department, all of the departments that are meant to watch the project as it's being developed. So,
I do think that the fill that they brought in and I don't know if it's on the south end, north end of the single lot, or if it's on the south end of the two lots.
Good point.
But they brought more fill in. Now I believe that east-west swell will work the way it's supposed to.
Correct.
Before that, there was no way that water was getting stopped. It was
That's
going
correct.
right through that swell, down the third lot and into the creek. But now that they added fill there, it will stop the water, and it should run it east and west.
The elevation,
Towards
pavement.
pavement.
the elevation survey will verify that it meets the grading plan of the subdivision that was approved, right? Those are all the spoils that ended up at the Laurel Lake basement. The spoils from the basement excavation were left on that site and then trucked to this site as opposed to finding another fill site in the area.
What we don't have any documentation on is the driveway. I mean, obviously Erie County granted them a permit.
You can go to your county
Yeah.
tomorrow morning and go get a permit, and they'll issue the permit because that's what they do. It's a work permit. It's a highway work permit for the purposes of installing a culvert, digging a trench, or whatever it is. It's a highway work permit.
So they just approve
The size of the
pipe.
pipe.
Piping.
They have no say, or there's nothing,
It's not their concern.
there's nothing written as far as where that pipe goes on that lot.
Okay,
Which could put it in the worst spot relative to the hill. I don't know if it does,
Well, there's no
but
plan. There's no plan that was analyzed or designed.
any other comments?
I do have two items, if
Okay.
you don't mind, just to bring this board up to date. We've been working with with Dave Baser here in the town attorney on updating our chapter 140 of our town code. It's basically Department of State is requiring each municipality to update the latest and greatest Title 19 verbiage and adopt it into local law. We started in January, where we had a couple of meetings, we had significant progress. We have to get these sections enumerated. I'd like to present it to the planning board and get it in the process to amend the code, which is going to incorporate public hearings and everything. So that deadline is December 31st of this year. It's fast approaching. So I'm just alerting you that it's going to come, and we'll go through that process. And then perhaps a couple of weeks ago, I just had this idea in my mind that perhaps it might not be a bad idea to revisit our applications, both in subdivision and site plans, to get them current with the most recently adopted code. Because we did codify the subdivision regulations. There are part of our code. But also specifically, because of the stormwater management, the MS4 that we're in, get a boilerplate outline of what a stormwater maintenance agreement is, so the developer can provide that at the point of application, get it to the town attorney's office, further review and comment, so that during the review process, that discussion is already happening, especially with these smaller projects. I think it might speed the process up as opposed to lengthen it. As I said, it's not difficult to get a document signed, notarized, and get it filed, and then turn around and bring us the filing receipt. It doesn't take long to file a document at County Hall. You can, I think, you can do it online still? I think through COVID, they had allowed some online filing.
Well, mine, during COVID.
There may be, you can do, so it's a lot quicker process. It streamlines our process. I'm speaking to other municipalities to see if they have something similar to that effect. To kind of give the applicants more information on the application as opposed to showing up on the first meeting night and we mentioned, hey, you need this other agreement in place.
when you're talking about that, maybe I should do more research, but is there in our code or in those forms something that describes the process and the steps in the process? Because it seems like everybody's always taken back by the seeker and the waiting 30 days for seeker. And why are we waiting, and it's delaying our project, and...
Every applicant, every developer, every design professional understands the process of seeker review. This is not new. It's been revised several times in the last couple of decades. The review process has always been that way. Our code clearly spells it out.
Does it spell it out that it's gonna take 30 days from the
There
time
are,
it's filed?
there's dates that are, I mean, honestly, the deadline submittal dates doesn't guarantee you that meeting date for a planning board review, because realistically, the town departments have 30 days to respond to the information. So you drop something up in our department on the cutoff date for this meeting tonight, we all have 30 days to reply to you with comments. 30 days we have.
I think, Tony, you're right, but I think a lot of times it's not the engineer that has the, well, a lot of times it's the petitioner, you know what I'm saying? The owner, you know, the owner.
Yeah.
They're like in shock, oh, it's 30 more pages, I know.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times the engineers and the site design guys come up here and probably know a little more. Or it's passed down to the owners, they used to go a little going.
I think that one of the, and this is not in code, because it could never be in code, is when the attorney's office sends it out for coordination. That's not in code. So the 30 days doesn't start until a
Yeah.
couple days after that.
So they do.
And that's the issue. I mean, so they can come in, if it were 2 weeks, say, before it went out, now you're at 30 days plus 2 weeks.
Plus 15, yeah, you're at 44 days,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, so-
And I'm not pointing the finger at
Yeah,
anybody,
that's not about pointing
but all these people keep saying, why are we waiting 30 days? Why are we waiting 30 days? And
Yeah, so, and that, there's no way to, point.
It's not unique to the town. That's all I had. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Matt. Anything else?
I pressed the board on the secretary issue for you, and I got different stories here and there, but I can really see where they're at.
Okay. Same thing with the member.
With the number two, same thing.
I know one person that is interested.
And he's keeping up to date. You know, they had mentioned that somebody's name, and then I said, well, we have to get the paperwork in.
Okay. Would it be okay with you or the board if I start looking for a secretary on my own? I haven't been doing that because nobody pays any attention to me, basically, so. But
I don't have a problem with it. I thought they had somebody in mind, and they haven't.
Okay.
They said they had somebody in mind, and
I'm going to start putting in for the extra money.
Well, you know, the thing is, since this is a board of record, if we just refuse to hold the meeting because we don't have anybody to record, that'll get somebody to jump through a hoop.
All right, thanks, David.
I like that idea.
We don't have a recording secretary, sorry. Come back in 2 weeks when we have a recording secretary.
Okay, if nothing else, okay, I'll move to adjourn. Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
I don't know if I feel we got a lot done or we got nothing done.
Yeah, we moved a few problems.
Couple moves, yeah, a couple moves. Three tabled and the others were,
Got things in the process.
Moved a few things on.
It's never gonna be done, right?
no,
They've never asked.
from Robert James Sales.
We're usually CC'd on it.
All right.
No, it'll be on.
Yeah,
It'll be
I
as
think
quick as try.
I think
No,
so
the
too.
start, but yeah.
I did feel a little,
Also off for like a week in July and then July, so I'm like, yeah.
You know, the
these
thing
things
is-
are cool, but I
That's what I said.
I don't wanna-
It's hard to, you can't do
say that through, like, well, it's not my fault, someone else did it. It's like, well,
Have back and forth
it.
with
one person,
30 days.
exactly.
Can't put that in.
he said something about, well,
Yeah.
you know, that there was another engineer